The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, squeezably soft host. Once more into the breach do we go, dear friends, in a market that's going nowhere fast. Or as the talking heads sang so well, we're on the road to nowhere. And that nowhere does not end until probably the FOMC meeting on Wednesday. I'm expecting light and variable trading until then. Volume is light. We talked about light on Friday with 2.45 or 2.5 billion shares on the New York Consolidated Tape, just 2.1 today. So extremely light of volume, and my guess is that continues on. Some pretty large bets that that the FOMC does not raise rates. And I think we're going to probably have a lot of action come 2 o'clock on Wednesday, and we'll take a look at that. I will be spotty for this 2 o'clock hour show this week. I'll probably try to go into the TFNN World Headquarters in Clearwater. Maybe the next couple of days, as I'm having the palatial estate re-roofed. And they were supposed to be here today, but I think there was a little mist this morning, and the roofers ran off with their fishing poles. So no hide, no hair of any roofers today. And I figured they'd be banging on the roof, but I got to make sure that they don't drive all over the lawn and the septic system and bust poles. In fact, I was talking to Tom's son this morning, and they ran over his sewer pipe while they were doing his roof, I don't know, 6 months ago or something. But I've just got to get an eyeball on these guys, so I may be in or out the next few days as soon as these guys get started. But there's a little thing that I was told called blame shifting, and that is you tell the boss something, and, of course, the other people go, well, no one ever told me. Well, when they show up, you make sure you buttonhole those guys right then, and you tell them so that there is no blame shifting later on. Everybody knew. Nobody's hid. And until I get my hands on the guy actually doing it and driving the truck, I can't leave. I've got to make sure they don't make a bigger problem. And in fact, one of my friends had said that he thought it was the funniest thing, but when I had another house and had people coming in and doing stuff all the time, I used to give them just put $20 up, and I said, if you don't break anything else while you're here fixing something, you can get to take this $20. And normally, if I didn't do that, they'd fix one thing and break two things. So just a little hint out there maybe of what to do. Of course, we always meet between 2 and 3 p.m. every trading day. Maybe every trading day that my house is not being re-roofed.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
Every day. And, of course, like I said, we're off 3.5 points on the S&P cash. Volume is infinitesimal. I thought it was light on Friday. It's ridiculous today so far. Maybe something else is going to happen. We've got a little news on Wednesday morning that might get traders goaded along, but my guess is that'll be over by 10 or 10:30, and then we'll be back in the sleep mode and looking for crickets coming into that 2 o'clock hour on Wednesday. What else do we have going on out of here? Okay. Dollar index up 50 cents. Let's do a little history, and then we'll get into the dollar and some of the news that came out this weekend about the G7 and G20.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
And what else do we have going on? Help beat beat. I don't understand what that means. I don't have anything in my anything else. I don't know why they need help. Help beat beat. That's it. Don't know what that means. What else do we got? Oh, we got history. Got to get to that. On this day in 1837, one of the earliest cases of insider trading, two stock speculators, the brothers Francis and Joseph Blank, are acquitted on charges of fraud. This is one of the more interesting ways that people always have to skin a cat. Before telegraphs and everything else, the way that you got stock prices was the newspaper the next day. You really didn't know what was going on. Everybody would race to get them. The stock exchange, which I have been to, by the way, in Tours or near Tours in France, used to have these things called optical telegraphs. And if you ever wondered why the telegraph is called a telegraph, it's because they had optical telegraphs before regular telegraphs. And the whole idea was that they had shutters on these light sources, and they would just flash them like ships do from ship to ship. And they basically bought all the high land that they could all around France, and they would flash these signals back and forth, but already in code. Long before Apple ever came around, these signals were encrypted. These guys paid to have it unencrypted, so before the newspapers came out, they actually knew the night before and didn't have to wait for newspapers to show up at 10 a.m. in the morning. They didn't have newspapers thrown at their doorsteps to pick up at 6:30 in the morning. Newspapers came out like at 9 or 10, and they already had a leg up on it. Never a dull moment in the stock market. If there's a dime to be made by getting information faster, people will do it, whether it's high-frequency trading, rigging it all on this day in 1837. Also, other interesting things happening on this day. 1883, Karl Marx dies peacefully. Of course, 107 years later, communism died painfully, and nothing has really ever changed. Also in 1904, the U.S. Supreme Court held 5-4 that J.P. Morgan's Northern Securities Company basically had broken the Sherman Act and pretty much put an end to the end of the robbing barons and the monopolies in America. Of course, I think there was one more big oil company in the 20s, and we really haven't had a lot of companies busted up. AT&T, I guess, comes to mind. Doesn't happen a great deal. Normally, they just get in there and cause problems, and the company gets distracted and someone else comes along. I think that's pretty much it for the news. Wanted to get started in some charts and actually talk about some other issues. We'll do that when we come back. But I think that there's fairly decent news in Europe, and we'll be talking about that when we come back.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And we're back. Just until we get into some charts here, interesting news out of Germany. If you haven't been paying attention, there was an election over the weekend, and Angela Merkel pretty much got powdered. It will not make a big change probably in the policies in the near future, since she has pretty much control over the policies that are in question. But what it does mean, though, is a real problem going ahead. She's the candidate of a strong EU and pretty much Germany as the leader of all of Western Europe. The problem is that she's made a lot of deals with the devil, and those deals are now coming back to haunt her because of literally the personal security of her citizens. And she's put that and put them in peril. And it's pretty rough anywhere in Western Europe now. Not to get too far into the weeds, but it is a problem. And probably the first thing you better make sure as a politician you do is make sure that people feel at least somewhat safe in the streets of your city. If they do not, your life will be short. Now, to us, not a big deal unless I'm going on vacation there. Bigger for me is this is about the third big hit that her party has taken. If we went to either one of the other parties, I think that the chances of the EU surviving probably go from 50 to 50 to probably 10%, something like that. So we'll be continuing to watch that. I know a lot of traders don't pay a lot of attention to news if you're trading the next 30 minutes. I tend to swing trade as long as I can and take bigger trades. Not much of a quote day trader, in and out in the same day if I can. I like to see things maybe a little bit more predictable, things setting up, maybe just a little slower and more predictable, at least for me. Let me put it that way. But Steve Jobs said it best, and that is you connect the dots backwards, and that is if you don't know something about it, you don't know how to put them together. The reason I said that is probably about the EU is going to be, especially I think maybe midsummer. It looks like they're getting ready to set up the election in the UK, and that would be for whether the UK actually stays in the EU. Of course, if that all started to hit the proverbial fan, I don't think that the euro would be worth a whole lot, and the dollar could spike. That's what we were starting to talk about a little bit out here in the news. And I don't have the articles here. I read them over the weekend, didn't have time to write everything down and get the links. But the G7 and G20 notes are out, and there is a great deal of discussion about how at least there's a gentleman's agreement or handshake that everybody is going to try to freeze the currency rates pretty close to where they're at. When we saw the big move last week in the dollar as it tried to break through 98, and seeing the kind of movement out there that is only available for that, it is kind of tough to see. So anyway, we'll get into the charts here a little bit. And that is, what do we got? Aetna. Is that today? It's the 14th. We need to get into today. There we go. No. Is it not Aetna? Come on. What's going on here, folks? I got somebody at the door. It's probably the roofers right now coming to get me. I'll have to run out and hammer on them during the break. They got about 4 minutes. They can't do too much damage in that time, can they? The Boeing Company. This one I've been watching fairly closely. Wanted to watch this. Volume fairly light. It gapped down with a significant amount of volume. This goes back to the 27th. And on volume, let's call it 28 million shares on that gap down. That gap has not been filled, but is trying to be filled today. The volume so far is probably, let's get a quote here on Boeing. What do we have for volume? 2.2 million shares. So pretty pathetic volume filling this gap. The energy off the lows of 102.10 on February 11th did have, of course, a nice high volume low. Now you're probably setting up kind of a trading range, I would expect, between this 102.10 low from February 11th to this 128.15. Trying to think if there's anything else you could say about it. To the gap, energy off the low of February 24th hasn't been anything close to it. The energy down was amazing from that February 4th high down to the February 11th low, and that continues to be one of these things. What is it? Question. Yes, Forex now a big time Q for me. I don't understand the question. One big dirty float. Still don't follow. What else do we have? Oh, we looked at Boeing. I wanted to look at a few others out here. We've got time for maybe one more out here before the break. Viacom, maybe? I'll take a quick look at this. Viacom, of course, another one of these stocks that had huge volume down. This time on February 9th, it left a gap, of course, 15.7 million shares. Kind of coming back into it first time, 7.5 million shares on February 23. March 7th out here on I see. I'm following it here. Someone put the proverbial Baby Ruth into the punch bowl, Mr. Z thinks, in the Tiger's Den. Anyway, first time, 7.5 million shares, 3.1 million shares on March 7th. And man, you just got this volume kind of coming out here to the side in Viacom. You could make a fairly decent case that maybe you got the ABC set up in Viacom. And the question is just how much money is and are any of these companies that really are based on traditional cable models worth? And right now, kind of hard to say. So we will see. what's going on here. I got to get rid of a few things. Everything's blinking and clicking and wheezing, but it's pretty it. As we go to the break, like I said, volume just crawling along. We're at 2020 on the S&P cash. We're off 2 points, 2.24 billion shares. And again, that's going to be probably one of the lightest trading days of this year if this holds up. You can always give me a call at 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com. And of course, you can put a message in the den. Hopefully one that doesn't confuse the living daylights out of you.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN, and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're back, and the FOMC meeting is at 2, according to the website. I couldn't see, or it's not listed, whether or not they have a press briefing after that. I'm going to have to make sure and check that out, but that will be interesting. Again, we're 2021 on the S&P cash here, 2.27 billion shares. But yeah, the press, the big thing is they do, Tom O'Brien's typing here. They do have a press meeting. Okay, they do. Okay, so we're going to have kind of like double action. You get the first response from them. And then, of course, the question and answer session where you can just throw some dice to see whether the market moves up or down until they're kind of done talking. But well, we'll look at that. Anyway, very light of volume. We're going to look at a few more of these stocks as we go through the day. And we will continue doing it. Let's get this. Krispy Kreme donuts. This had a huge gap down. I'm thinking this thing could get very close into the highs back here, which is the, what are you going to call it? That September 14th high, which basically set the bottom of the gap. And of course, March 14th today, another light volume day. I probably wouldn't be shorting the stock, but you got some fairly light volume in here. Typically, I'm going to be watching this as many others of these gap plays that seem to play out pretty much the same. But about 16.5, maybe $16.75. See that up there with light volume and expect it to pull back down. You had a couple lows out here at about the same volume. So a little indeterminate, but we've got a lot of patterns that I've seen kind of like this Krispy Kreme pattern so far. So we'll take a look at it. More interesting to me is Intuitive Surgical. I wanted to see how this guy traded today because we are going through the previous high of January 22nd. This had some fairly decent action pretty much since their last earnings report that actually came out a lot better than possible. As many people say, the psycho stock at earnings, you never know if it's going to be 50 or 75 bucks up or down. What we can tell, though, is that had about 750,000 shares on that January 22nd high. You got into it today with about 330,000 shares so far. So we'll want to see how that comes on to the end. Unlike a lot of stocks from the last couple of weeks, this seems to be holding its high now through and into the day. I was looking at it a little earlier. Still fairly amazing. In the healthcare sector, another one is this HCA Holdings. And again, as I said, this pattern could be one of 100 or 150 stocks that I've been looking at lately. And that is the big gap down, lots of volume. This thing's been bouncing around in a trading range. And finally, these things have been getting back in and starting to fill their gap and probably going to be telling us a great deal. By the end of the day, HCA, we would like to see that thing have more than 15 million shares, I suspect. That's tough, even on Friday, which is going to be a bigger volume day. You just had 3.7. So, it had its consolidation. It's had its push. It's coming back up. But many of these stocks are coming back in to their gaps down with incredibly light volume. What was I looking at GG? GG was looking at this one on Friday. The previous high on this, 16 million shares on February 24th. This is Gold Corp. Came into it on Friday with 11 million shares, starting to pull back in its trading range. Expedia, another one that got hammered pretty much on the Zika mosquito and a great deal of many other things. And it's starting to come back up to its previous high of February 17th after it basically took the, I'm going to call it not a double diamond, but a gentle, more than a blue bunny slope down from the $133.07 high of December 16th to the $88.40 low of February 8th. Pretty good energy. It bounced with a little, with some strength. Nice little pullback on light energy, but now we're in this light volume move again. It looks like you might have enough energy today and volume. Oh, not here on today. Let's get this going. Okay, now we're getting back up, let me put it that way, into these two gaps. That's the gap down of the 4th of January and the gap down of the 7th of January. You got two gaps. Energy was okay on those, not all that exciting. But my guess, if I was looking at this chart and playing it off the bottom or thinking about the ABC, you're probably looking at one of these two gaps. I would think probably the upper gap up here, about 122, as being the real firm resistance. And that would be on a retracement basis. Yeah, your 618 comes in right at the base of the previous gap. That's at 120.60, which would be the 618 of the bigger one. You've already gone through the 116.01, which would be the 618 of the smaller ABC. That would be the December 16th high to the February 8th low. Your C point would come in. I guess if you're really looking at that, 117.09. 1.4 million shares on today. So again, we're going to have to see whether or not there's a lot happening as we go into the close. But much like Friday, as we discussed, volume very light or getting lighter. Just 2.3 billion shares crawling along. Okay, now Crown Holdings CCK. Take a look at this one. Again, almost all these patterns have one or multiple big gaps with volume, and we're getting back into these now. And this is where I'd be looking to see these, whether or not these are going to fail. The gap down on this one on the 7th of January came in with 620,000 shares. We're kind of going to match that. What do we have? 422,000, 600,000. I think you can probably make a pretty good case that we're going to beat that today. The gap before that, about 600,000. So probably not enough to actually hold this back. But again, just on a retracement basis, you can make a case that these things may actually start more complex ABCs, and you might get a little pullback. So what do I want? I want a retracement, and we want to look at those. So where are we at? Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll take a look at this when we come back again. Try to straighten this out, make it a little clearer for you. Oh, there it is. When we come back, give me a call at 877-927-6648. Looks like I got a few emails. We'll check them out. We'll also talk about Andy Heck's article about a Solomon Brothers CEO.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
If you're looking to discover a new financial resource and diversify your financial portfolio, consider the new Market Safe Commodity Solution CD from Everbank. This 5-year U.S. dollar-denominated CD gives you exposure to 8 equally weighted commodities, including WTI crude oil, gold, silver, copper, nickel, soybeans, corn, and sugar, in one powerful CD. With annual pricing caps of 70% per component, you could earn up to 70% upside payment at maturity if the commodities increase in value across annual pricing dates. And should the opposite occur, your principal is 100% protected. Keep in mind, returns are based on CD performance. There is no annual percentage yield or periodic rate of interest on this indexed CD. Don't miss out. Take advantage of this financial resource designed to grow with the times. The April 14th funding deadline is quickly approaching, so hurry over to everbank.com/TFNN for the CD's term sheet and other important product details and disclosures. Once again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. This advertisement is sponsored content. Everbank is a member FDIC.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now, you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile-based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
And I've got a few emails during the breaks. We'll try to go through those. Request from the Den, which we will do first. Vale, it seemed like I've been kind of spottedly listening to TFNN today, and maybe I'm thinking Friday or today, but it seems like we've got a lot of requests about Vale. You always wonder if it's the same person or if it's everybody that's interested in the stock, and maybe somebody in the Den knows. But always, when everybody starts calling about one stock, always makes me a little bit nervous, or other things. But we'll find out here fairly quickly. What we can do is look at this nice 50% retracement off a high with high volume, which is everything everybody wants to see. There are two ways you can always attack these. The traditional way, which is more to my liking, although you have to wait a great deal more, which is have it go back and test the original low, which would go back here to the $2.13 low of January 26th. Of course, a lot of times, especially after things have been brutalized as bad as Vale, you get that huge move and it just starts the other side back up. But certainly, if you were thinking about putting your back to the wall with a stop on the bigger moves, let me get back out here and see if I can get a few of these down here. What do I want to do? I want to get to a shorter time frame. Here we go. You've got a fairly decent retrace, but from the 213 low, January 26th, to the March 7th high at $4.89. You've got high volume at the highs. Maybe that's enough to tip it over, but you certainly, 383 was the 50% retracement. You're in on light volume back to volume bars on the upside. So I could see the case on that. I think maybe one of the reasons why you haven't seen a turnaround yet is probably crude's off 3.5% on West Texas today. It seems to be a lot of drum beats on commodities, and if they're all moving together, your odds are probably a little bit better. I would think that maybe you'd want to see maybe a little juice in the crude market, or maybe even stabilize. That was the problem that I think in a lot of these commodity markets that aren't gold or silver is the issue right now, which is, if crude's not doing that well, are we looking at iron? But I mean, nice ABC looking chart out here. You got 383, 343. Man, for me, maybe a little too much risk. I know others it would not be, but I think I would probably like to see maybe even 318. I'm just a greedy guy. I like to see it come back to 318, maybe a move back up to that 489. But it's all personal preference on that. I don't know if there's a right or a wrong for it, but hopefully that is it. Oh, we all love it. Means not time to buy. Yeah. Yeah, I love it when everybody uses everybody else as a contrary indicator. I would just like to pull it back. I'm just, with all the action in the markets and the push from highs to lows, I'm just really wanting to make sure that I have the ultimate in risk reward. And if the market was probably more in a trend than in this kind of grinding trading range that we've had here for the last few weeks, maybe I'd feel a little bit better about it. But me, I want 318, but that's just me. What else do we have out here? Wanted to look at a few other stocks as we have time as we go into the home stretch. Bank United, I like this one a little bit better. And like I said, I kind of really like seeing either the 618 on a retrace up for ABC downs, and I'd like to buy the pullbacks to go long on the 318 if I can, or excuse me, on the 618 if I can. So I'm much more of a 618 kind of trader, let me put it that way, if I can. And you've got that 618 coming up right in this gap. The gap had some significant volume on the way down, 1 million shares. We're kind of into that on Friday with 1 million shares today. Not so much, but we'll check the volume out. But I like especially when these gaps come in right at the same point that the 618 retracement over a bigger move comes in. That's where I really start liking these trades a lot better. If this was some kind of ABC, which it certainly could be, you'd want to look, of course, at expansions and a pretty nice, 10-point ABC on a $30 stock. So you've got pretty much all your retrace there, maybe another couple bucks higher. And if volume just comes out or you get a good reversal signal. But if this is it, give you just an idea that a 1-to-1 would take you to $25.25. So let's say maybe this goes up another buck or 50 or 75 cents, gives you a decent signal. You maybe be talking 26 bucks on that. So again, another maybe, $9 on a $35 stock. I'll be looking at this a little bit more. Of course, that bigger volume on Friday is really probably the weakest point of that as a trade setup. What else do we have out here? Don't know why I put that one in there. Aptar Group, ATR. Looking at this one, I think probably I was looking at this one because of the light volume. The light volume that we had on Friday. And the November 3rd high, $75.96, 940,000 shares. Got into that apparently on Thursday with 380,000 shares. Did nothing on Friday, doing nothing out here today. I would have liked to seen the energy a little lighter from that January 20th low to this high of March 10th. But not a whole lot so far. It certainly didn't come in like gangbusters. But certainly at the light volume on these, you've really got to start keeping an eye on them. There was a few others out here in my email. I think I wanted to look at Microsoft. Not exactly sure from the email what these people wanted to do. I think we talked about this last week. I can't remember. But to me, this is in a narrowing trading range. And we're up to, I think we did talk about this maybe last Tuesday or Wednesday. And that is a very tight trading range here around 52 bucks. And the question in the email was actually what I thought was going to happen with this. And I'm going to say that Microsoft continues to do just about everything perfectly. And if the market goes up, it's probably going to go a little higher. If the market goes down, probably going to go a little lower. I just don't see a lot in this yet. I mean, you got $55.09 for the previous high, $48.19 for the previous low. Again, not a lot of meat on the bone. And you know, everybody knows how I like T-bones. We will be back for the home stretch and then the Tom O'Brien Show in the next hour.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to the Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And we're kind of lucky here at TFNN. We've got so many people from so many different walks of life. As a host, of course, we have Andy Heck, which is kind of the insider, worked in the World Trade Center building, deep inside the bowels of the commodity market. Has written one of the, I'm going to say it is his best article ever for Seeking Alpha. You may want to check it out. We talked last Thursday about the CEO of Solomon Brothers who passed away, but probably more interesting because we got to peek behind the curtains with a book called Liar's Poker, one of the more famous books of what goes on inside Wall Street. But Andy worked there. He knew the gentleman, and it is, I think, a lot of the stuff we do is buy this, sell that. But I always like it when we kind of get to peek behind the curtains and see the people that have the real juice, i.e. other people's money, and how they throw it around. But very interesting. Liar's Poker, probably not the most sympathetic book to this gentleman, but certainly Andy's article, kind of a warts and all deal. Liked it very much. And if you need that link, you can just email me at path@tfnn.com. But really enjoyed it. Thought it was one of his best articles ever and worth the read at the price of free. Certainly. Yeah, I may even pay for that one. But you wouldn't know it until you read it, whether it was worth something. As we go through the end of the day, I wanted to look at Petrobras. Of course, we were talking about crude being off. This one certainly made a fairly insightful high, 34 million, let's call it 34.4 million shares, going back to November 21st before it really got pelted. It gapped down. Volume was fairly decent that day, 24 million shares. We got into the 33 million shares, and this much more typical of the pattern. Even on volume, a lot of these stocks are bouncing back up to these levels, only to pull back in the trading range. You've had some decent moves. You've had some big volume days. And what you would like to see is them come back into a few of them. The ones I'm looking at here, of course, the big volume days were the 3rd and the 4th of March. And, 100 million shares is not bad. And the sign of strength, of course, I'm a traditional Wyckoffist, if you're not familiar with them, kind of the original price and volume guy. We've moved on since those times, but the idea was to always wait until you came back on the pullback to buy. I kind of like that, and could easily see, especially in a commodities market with everybody short, that I'd want to get back into one of these 2 volume days. So you've got a fairly decent pullback in here. You've got a high volume high. Certainly to set up the risk reward, I would probably be looking somewhere around this $4.50 level on Petrobras. And I'm not exactly sure where that would put crude, but either one of these days out here, up to, what is that? The high of day on the 4th is $5.52. If you could get back in here in the low $4, 20% trade does not look bad. But I'm thinking, man, if we could get to that high of the day, which is, what is that? 413, 4.25. Man, that is where I would probably want to be looking at this. Anyway, I don't know what else we can say. Going to be quiet probably until Wednesday. In the meantime, so when you can, not when you have to. And we'll see you tomorrow, probably from the TFNN Global Studios.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.